Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Family Values, where we discuss all things marriage and family. My name is Jasmine, and if you're new here, welcome. Today we will be discussing homeschool per request. This has been a big request, so I'm just excited to get into this and give you the information that I'm here to give you. If you are excited about it, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I drop another video. This will be a series on homeschool. And if you know anyone that would benefit from the information I'm giving you, make sure you share it. But let's get right into this. So the first thing I want to address is the excuse making that I hear a lot from parents. I'm posting a lot on Instagram about what is happening in these schools, in these public schools, and a lot of people still are willing to give the excuse that finances, I just can't afford to homeschool. Well, what's important to you? Because a lot of us will go on vacation and wear designer clothes. We do what is important to us. But when it comes to our kids, when it comes to homeschooling, no, we just can't do that. And a lot of times I believe it has a lot to do with the ladies not wanting to give up their freedom and their career, and they are willing to sacrifice their children for that. And I can't get with that. It is a sacrifice. It is not a luxury. It's a sacrifice. There are things that you can do in order to make sure that you can maintain your home and have a roof over your head and food on your table. You don't have to have the best of everything. You don't have to have 2 car payments. You don't have to have the best clothes. Go to the thrift store. Hell, you don't really need that many clothes anyways because you're homeschooling. You're at home. You see what I'm saying? There's so many excuses out here, and there are ways to cut back. There are ways to really make it work for your family. And I'm so glad that we did that. It's so worth the sacrifice of things, because the benefit that you get is the satisfaction of knowing that your children are thriving and learning from you. You know what it is that they're learning. You are programming them to be and to have your values. You will be their first influence from homeschooling. There's this misconception that homeschool students are weird and they can't socialize well. That's a lie. It's actually the complete opposite. Have you ever met a public school student? They are the most awkward people that I've ever met. Their faces are always in their phone. When they're around adults, they're so weird. They act like they don't want to look. They can't even look you in your eyes. Their personality is a literal replica of the people that they're surrounded with at school. Homeschool students don't have the pressures of peer pressure. So they get to explore who they are. They get to explore the things that interest them. While in school, certain things that may interest them, they suppress it because they could get picked on, because people will call them weird for being different. Just because a homeschool student is confident in who they are, people call that weird because they're not used to seeing someone outside of the box, of the norm, of the sheeple that is created in public school. Not to mention, homeschool students are equipped in talking to all ages. If they have siblings, they know how to communicate and deal with their siblings at their level. And they also communicate with adults all day. So they know how to communicate, respect, and honor, and treat adults in authority with respect, and know how to communicate whatever it is that they need to communicate with an adult. But have you seen that with public school students? I don't see that with children in public school. I see that they are extremely awkward when it comes to talking to adults. And they don't know how to communicate with children at different ages. They're in a classroom filled with children their age. And you think that that is going to best help them be a good communicator and be a great socializer? No, that creates them to be able to be stuck in a box. They don't grow that way. Homeschool students are challenged by an adult. They are challenged to critically think differently. And this is abnormal to the normal person that's went to public school, that is used to children in public school. That is why you think it's weird, but they are actually very well-rounded. And most homeschool students are very successful in their adult life. They do well because when they're home with the adult, they're learning actual life skills that will help them in their future. So we spend all this time in this classroom learning things that doesn't even benefit us in the future. Now, it's good to learn science and how things work and about plants and animals and things like that, so you can be knowledgeable, of course. But my point is that we are treating school like that is the best way to set a child up for success. But it's not. It's setting your children up to work for somebody. That's it. It's either a prison pipeline or a corporate pipeline. Homeschool students are most likely end up being entrepreneurs. They end up being employers, not employees. They end up learning life skills that actually help them succeed. So I just wanted to lay that out first, because there's so many lies that we hear in America, especially about homeschool. And I believe that that's a part of the indoctrination. They don't want you to homeschool. They want you to think that your children are going to miss out on something. They're not, especially if they have siblings. But even if they don't have siblings, put them in sports. There's co-ops where you can learn with other homeschool students. Like, we're acting like they're just going to be so hidden in the dark and in their room all day and don't know nothing about the world. And that's just not the case. It's a lie. It's a lie to scare you and give you the excuse to keep your kids in public school. And the last, but one of the most important fears that I see a lot of parents are going through is the fear of being inadequate. Thinking that you won't be smart enough or good enough to be your children's teacher, or even have the patience enough to do it. And I was there. That was me. That was absolutely me. I do now. I've been working on the patience thing, but I didn't have the patience. I was not confident in my skills of teaching. I know I didn't pay attention in school. Like, I was fearful that I was going to destroy my children's lives. But with prayer and confidence in what God has placed in me, on top of doing the research, I did the research and watched YouTube channels, and I'm going to link someone's YouTube channel that really helped me, and I'm going to quote her a little bit. But just putting my neck out there and say, hey, I'm just going to jump. I'm going to jump, and we're going to do this, because this is me teaching them. If I'm dumb and going to make them dumb, it's better than them going to school to get groomed. It's better than them going to school to get indoctrinated. And that's what I said to myself. It's better to protect them than to be worried that they're going to be dumb like me. But lo and behold, it doesn't take much to teach. It doesn't take so much. There's so many tools out here, free tools that you can get access to help you along the way. Especially after COVID, like, there's so many different people who are like, look at this influx of homeschoolers. Let's help them. Let's teach them. There's so much. There's so many resources that you could figure out your style and what it is that you want to do and how your kids learn. Learn together. It's going to take a while for you to get in the groove. I'm 2 years in, 3 years in, and I'm still just now getting the groove of things and having the confidence in what I'm doing because I'm seeing the results. It just takes time to really get to know your kids, understand how they learn, and move accordingly. And the best thing about homeschool is you can move in your own pace, your time. We think that we need 7 or 8 hours of school like the public schools do it. No, you don't. They do it that way because, first of all, they're in a huge class with 20 plus students. So a lot of what they're doing is trying to control the room rather than teaching. And then a lot of it is a lot of busy work to keep the kids occupied. It is a lot of stuff that is unnecessary. All a child really needs is 3 hours a day. And for the younger ones, 3 days a week, 3 hours a day. And if you're not going to sit down and do like formal curriculum on certain days, have them read. Reading is the best tool. And I harp on this because, like I said, the woman that I follow that helped me, really get confident in what I'm doing, she really talked about, and I also heard Callie Fontanilla. She is an educator. She is the creator of Think Exodus, which is also something that my oldest daughter does. But they both say that learning how to read is the most important thing. If you teach your child how to read, they will learn how to teach themselves. And I'm watching that. I see that in my daughter. She loves to read. Her nose is always in a book. And say me and my husband is having a conversation about something. We're debating, no, this animal does this. No, this does that, or whatever. And she's like, well, this is the truth. This is the fact. And we're like, how'd you know that? I read it in a book. And I'm like, this is what we need. Okay, this confirms that we're doing something right. And when you teach them how to read, like I said, they learn how to teach themselves. And then along the way, say there's an issue and she doesn't understand a certain problem or how to come up with the formula for that problem or whatever it may be. Instead of being prideful, be humble, Mom. It's okay if you don't know. If you don't know, say you don't know and pull out the computer or your phone and let's YouTube it. Let's Google it together. Let's figure it out. I did that maybe once or twice with her. And now whenever there's a time where she doesn't understand something, she's like, Mom, can I hold the computer so I can figure out how to do this? And she does it. That is how you teach. You teach these children how to teach themselves, how to find information, how to critically think for themselves. And that's how the concepts actually stick when they end up teaching themselves. So you realize that the pressure isn't completely on you. The best thing that you can do is teach them how to read and teach them how to be proficient and how to use this computer, how to use a cell phone to find information. We have information at our fingertips. We don't have to sit here and try to create curriculum out your butt. You can do it from the internet. There's so much that you can do by just Googling or YouTubing. So I feared being inadequate. I feared being not a great teacher. And that actually ended up working for my benefit because I accidentally ended up teaching my kids how to figure out information on their own. And that alone teaches them to be critical thinkers. To learn on their own is the best thing. Public school, they don't teach that. They teach you to go to your teacher for the answer. Only they know the answer. This is how you get it. The teacher is the source. No, let's teach our children how to be critical thinkers. And that is how you create a successful child. And so as they get older and they get proficient in reading, you don't have to do much. You can give them the whatever it is that you want them to do, give them the directions and how you want it done, and then they can go get that done. And then for your younger children, the preschoolers, the kindergartners, the first, second, maybe third graders, those are the ones that you may have to spend a little bit more time with because you are teaching them how to read. I started off doing it on my own. I didn't have anything that I followed. I just was like, okay, I want to teach them their ABCs. I want them to learn how to read. So the first thing of learning how to read is learning the sounds of each letter and what they all look like. And I did that, but it wasn't sticking for some reason. I would print out worksheets for them to practice writing the letters, and we'll talk about it, but it didn't stick because I didn't make it interactive. It was just book work. You don't have to do book. Children don't learn that way. Now, as they get older, yes, but young children do not learn that way. They learn by being interactive. They learn with music. They learn with movements. And I didn't know that until I realized, okay, this isn't working. And we did a year of that and it didn't work for me. And that's okay. Don't feel like, oh my God, my kids are behind. That is the beauty of homeschooling. You can do it on your time. You can catch them up. You can slow down. You can say, okay, I'm going to spend more time in this area because you don't quite get it yet. And we're not going to move forward until we get it. You can't do that in school. You get left behind because the teacher can't stop what she's doing because of one student or two students. You get left behind if you don't get it. So yeah, I just wanted to address these fears and really harp on the fact that it's nothing to be afraid of, and that society doesn't want us to do this. I can't say society. Government doesn't want us to do this. They're afraid of us educating our own children because they can no longer control us. So this is an amazing sacrifice that is well worth it. It will benefit generations to come. It will benefit your community. It will benefit your family. And most importantly, it will benefit your children. This is it for this video. I will continue, and for the next video, I'll talk about the certain things that we read and the curriculums that I've used and what is working for us. And I just want to encourage you that you don't have to be afraid that you're going to fail at this. It is okay to make mistakes and to figure it out. Like I've seen veteran homeschoolers on YouTube that are switching things up because, okay, this doesn't work for us anymore. Or, you grow and you evolve, and that is okay. It is okay. Long as you are spending that time with your children, teaching them the basics, learning how to read, and life skills, they will succeed in life. They will. So, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Share if you like the video. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions for the rest of this series. I would love to answer your questions. And yeah, thank you.